Welcome everyone who's joining us on this franchise funding options webinar. I'm Rich Greer, your franchise broker. I'll be taking you through the various slides today to review franchise funding options that most people don't know are available to them. Just a little housekeeping first. If you haven't already completed the business assessment, please do so in time to give me the time necessary to review your assessment report. Conduct the research for the right franchises to present to you with your unique business goals and acumen. Allow time for me to reach out to the franchisors to determine if they have availability in your area and create your research presentation slides. So it shouldn't take you more than 15 or 20 minutes to take that assessment. Feel free to share the link for the assessment with your spouse or any potential partners that may like to get their business assessment report. And another webinar presentation will go over that assessment so you have a better understanding how that assessment helps me in researching the right franchising for you. So I welcome all your questions. Please key your questions in the chat. We'll be holding the questions to the end. If I don't get your question or you're viewing this presentation as a recording, please feel free to write or call me with your questions. Also, if you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, please feel free to call or write to ask for a copy of the franchise business assessment or a copy of my book. I'm happy to provide a PDF copy of my book that I wrote. It's called Finding a Better Version of You Through Franchising. And my contact information will be on the last slide. So let's get started today. So today's presentation is to provide you with a baseline understanding of your franchise funding options that most people don't know are available to them. Um, this is our typical franchise due diligence process. I really won't spend a lot of time on this today. In another webinar that I recorded, the franchise business model, I go into depth on each step of the process. Feel free to write to me, ask me for a link to that webinar. Happy to provide it to you. So we'll just go over just this part here, why it's important to get pre-approved. So with my clients, we have an initial call, 30-minute call, and I'll go over my background, my expertise, how I help my clients, and do know that I'm a free franchise consultant to you. The franchisors, they pay me out of their marketing budget. So I represent over 2,000 franchise brands. I'm not married to any one of them. My goal is to help educate you on what the franchise business model is all about, and also do some research to help match make the best franchise options for you, and to introduce you to uh, my favorite franchise funding agency called FranFund. So after after our initial call, I will send a link for a business assessment that gives me a lot of the report gives me a lot of good information on you, your business acumen, the business culture that you'd be a best fit for, your business values. And I take all that information and uh, compare that with what the franchisors are looking for and do a good match to present to you 3 to 5 franchises for us to review. And this is going to be PowerPoint presentation based on what I learned from you in our initial call and the report, the business assessment. So I have a much better idea of which brands you'd be more successful in that would meet your goals. So after our research review, where I'm presenting 3 to 5 franchises and PowerPoint presentation, where you learn who they are, what they do, who their customers are, how they get their customers, any earnings claims, and startup costs to hit break even, your total investment. Uh, I will introduce you to FranFund. Now, FranFund will go into much deeper explanation than I will today. I'll go over your options, but just at a high level. I'm not a funding expert, but they are, and there's no obligation at all to work with FranFund or anyone else that I introduce you to. Their job is to just explain to you your options. If you want to work with them, great. They're happy to work with you. Um, and also for a free service, they will pre-approve you. So just kind of quickly about that, it's like buying a house. When you buy a house, you go to a broker and they will get you pre-approved so you know what your limit would be for a mortgage. If your limit is $500,000, there's no point looking at million-dollar homes. They're fun to look at, but it's a waste of everyone's time. And we know to look at $500,000 or less. And same in franchising for no cost to you. They will explain your options. They will do a pre-approval so that we know what your funding cap would be. So we know the cap of the franchises that we should be reviewing. Hope that makes sense. So the first option, we're going through the options now that FranFund will go over in a much deeper aspect. So in 1974, around this time period, the economy was real sluggish. The government was trying to increase our national economy. They tried every trick in the book. They just couldn't get it going, and they noticed literally trillions of dollars on the sideline that none of us could touch. Our retirement accounts. Can't touch them without paying taxes, interest, and penalties. So in 1974, the IRS developed a brand new platform at the time called Retirement Rollover Business Startup, or the acronym is ROBS. So when you're talking with FranFund, they're going to mention ROBS, and so you'll have a better understanding of what that is. It does have to be administered by a qualified third-party funding vendor. Probably that is not your bank. They have to be qualified and licensed to do this with the IRS. Um, by using the ROBS, you can roll over as much of your retirement accounts as you want without incurring any taxes, interest, penalties, and this no payback. This is not a loan. So you don't have to empty out your retirement accounts, but as a rollover as much as you want. It's a great way of using your retirement accounts before you turn the qualified age in order to release the retirement accounts. Um, and you can use the funds that they get rolled over from your retirement accounts into your corporate bank account that you'll create once you create your company. So you can use that for any startup funds for your business, acquire competition. If you have a competitor you want to acquire, you can use ROBS for that. You can pay yourself or family members' salaries, purchase a new company car, and provide a capital down payment on an SBA loan. So any business expenses actually you could use it for. So I've got a cartoon here for us to go over. Uh, this is as best as I can explain how the ROBS works. I always tell my clients I will answer any question as long as you'll accept I don't know as an answer. So I understand at this level, any follow-up questions on funding is best reserved when you talk to FranFund. So the first thing, if you engaged FranFund, to do the ROBS for you. And let's just say right now you've got $500,000 in retirement account and you want to roll over $300,000. So you engage a friend fund. First thing they're going to do is create a C corp for your business. Now it has to be a C corp. It can't be an LLC. It can't be an S corp. It has to be a C corp. You get to name it and you get to own 100% of the equity. But they will create it because they want to make sure that it's done properly. So their legal team will create the C Corp. Again, you own it, you get to name it. Once that C Corp is created, they're going to now create a brand new 401k Schwab account in your name. So now at this point, you own a C Corp and you own an empty 401k Schwab account. So once that C Corp, I'm sorry, that once that Schwab account is created, they're going to roll over $300,000 into that 401k Schwab account that was created. So now at this point, you own a C Corp. You have retirement accounts with $200,000. You started off with 500,000, and you own another 401k Schwab account that has $300,000 in it. Now at this point, your 401k Schwab account is going to purchase the equity in this C Corp, and it's going to purchase it for $300,000. So $300,000 gets rolled over into your corporate bank account. This is your bank account, your corporate bank account. And so now at this point, you don't own the C Corp anymore, but your 401k does. So you own at this point, you have a old retirement account with $200,000 in it. You have a 401k Schwab account that owns a C Corp, and you in your corporate bank account, you have $300,000 now ready for you to spend in any way you want, as long as it's a business expense. And this takes typically 2 to 4 weeks to get the funding from the beginning to the end. Another option is the SBA Express loan. We're going to go over two loan packages by the SBA. This is up to $150,000. You can use any of these SBA loan packages for business acquisitions, if you're going to buy a competitor, or expansions, asset purchases, such as the franchise fees, or purchasing and developing a franchise. This package has a 7-year payback at 2.75% above the prime rate. It is unsecured, means it's not collateralized, and it's off the books, doesn't affect any credit ratings. There's no prepayment penalty, and it takes about 1 day to get approval, and it takes 2 to 4 weeks to get the funding on this one as well. The next level is up to 350,000, called the Dream Loan. And again, it can be used for any business acquisitions, expansions, uh, asset purchases, franchise purchase. This has a 10-year payback at the same 2.75% above the prime rate. This is going to be collateralized with business assets. If you're borrowing $350,000, you're buying trucks, vans, etc. So there's going to be collateral. The bank will collateralize business assets for that loan. No prepayment penalty. This takes 2 days to get approved and could take 4 to 6 weeks to get funding. And then there's a 7A loan up to $5 million. I've only had one client. Well, actually, it's two clients. They were partners, business partners, and they were doing a huge area development, Dallas-Fort Worth area development, and they needed $1 million to purchase that area and develop the area. So they got a 7A. Very, very. That's the only time in my decades of doing this I ever had anyone do this 7A loan. The requirements for the SBA loan is you have to have a credit score of 685 or greater. You have to have 10 to 20% of the requested loan amount in non-borrowed sources, a cash injection. Just like getting a mortgage for a house, you have to put a down payment. Think of that. That's what we're talking about. Non-borrowed cash injection. So it has to come from savings, checking, withdrawal, or you could use that rollover we talked about earlier. Also, you have to have no bankruptcies in the last 5 years and no open judgments or tax liens. This is just a reminder. When I introduce you to FranFund, I'm going up some slides here. When I introduce you to, here we go. When I introduce you to FranFund here, they're going to send an email back to you saying, hey, it's great to meet you. Here's our Calendly link. Please find the best day and time for you to first have our initial call so we can explain options. And also, please fill our financial form. Now, I'm going back to where we were. Um, okay, now the financial form is to get pre-approved. That financial form, that link, when you click on the link, it is not asking you for social security numbers. It's not asking you where your money is parked. There's no bank account numbers. There's no bank names or anything. It's just a high level assets, liabilities, income streams, things like that, so they can get you pre-approved. So after I introduce you to FranFund, please go ahead and schedule your funding options call with them. And also go ahead and click on that link. It shouldn't take you 10 or 15 minutes to fill out their financial form so we can get you pre-approved so we know the limits of your budget to purchase a franchise. This is just a reminder that you can combine SBA and ROBS. You may remember one of the packages was up to $350,000. Well, if you needed 350,000 and the down payment's 10 to 20%, let's just assume 20%, it means you need $70,000 cash, and most of us don't have $70,000 cash. So you could do even if you have a $500,000 in retirement accounts, you could do the ROBS for $70,000. Just roll over 70,000. And once that's rolled over and it lands in your corporate bank account, then that would be your injection for your loan, for your $350,000 loan. So um, again, I will ask Tyler Murphy is my favorite senior funding consultant with FranFund. I'll ask him to reach out to you, explain your financing options, and start your pre-approval process. Here's his contact information. But when I send you the introductory email, you'll get his contact information there as well. If you do reach out to him from this video, please let him know that you heard about him from me, Rich Greer, your franchise broker. Okay, let's see if I have any questions in chat. I see two of them. You know what? I'm going to combine both of them. They're pretty similar. The first question is, why should I use your funding agency services? Why not use my local bank? And the other question is, how does your funding agency help me with funding? Are they selling me their products? Okay, first, you're never under any obligation to work with FranFund. You'll speak with one of their funding consultants. Their job is to help you understand your funding options and pre-approve you for the funding, so you know what your budget would be limit would be set at. All for free to you. It's no cost to you. Your local bank typically can't pre-approve you because they don't know what the SBA's cash injection is going to be. And they don't know how much you need. So getting pre-approved for franchise funding is much like getting pre-approved for purchasing a home. Once pre-approved, we have a much better idea what your budget for purchasing a franchise would be. Also, if you're interested in SBA funding, for example, if you go to a bank, you'll get an application. The overall size of that application package is enormous. It's going to take you forever to fill it out. Guaranteed, it's not going to be filled out correctly the first time. Um, so when it comes to the process of filling out the application, gathering the correct supporting documents, getting it back to your bank, it can be very confusing and frustrating. And then you bring that application to your bank and they submit it to the SBA. If there's a glitch anywhere in that huge application, the process gets delayed. Your bank typically, they're not going to be following up on your behalf. they're busy with a lot of other things. SBA may return the application directly to you, and then you'll be going back and forth for possibly months to get the data and documents that are required. Whereas with FranFund, they put together the loan application for you. They've done hundreds of thousands of these. They know how to do it. And your bank, and also you're going to get, if you use your bank, you're going to be getting the loan terms that they offer. FranFund, after they create that loan application, they actually submit that application by asking 10 different funding institutions for a request for a proposal. Once FranFund gets all those RFPs back, they'll compare each one of them and get the best deal for you. They follow the loan application all the way from submittal to each step to getting the funding being awarded. You'll be kept apprised of each step of the application process through FranFund. FranFund's small fee to do all this for you is well worth the security of everything being done correctly and on time. I hope I did an okay job explaining those two questions. If not, please email me, call me, let me know. I'm always up for a good chat. So thank you for the questions. Again, if you're watching this, feel free to write to me with any questions or to ask for a link for the business assessment or a copy of my book, Finding a Better Version of You Through Franchising. Um, Thank you for joining me. I look forward to talking to everyone very soon. Bye for now.